Okay, so welcome to tutorial 3. We're going to be working on the file you used when you finished tutorial 2. So if you can open up tutorial 2 file and then rename it, your last name, first name, and then tutorial 3, so TUT3. So we're just going to be using the same file, but we're just going to edit on. So again, open up your file from last week, rename it TUT3, or last name, first name, tutorial 3, and then we can get started. So again, I've already done this. So just a brief summary of what we're going to do here. We're going to do a few different things. We're going to be inserting a shaft for openings and stairs. We're going to talk to you about sheets, create topography, create a building pad. We're going to use a section box tool. We're going to cut some sections. We're going to use the visibility graphics to turn on and off some displays. We're going to change how the drawing looks on different sheets. We're going to tag some details. And we're going to edit the title block and a few different things and create some callouts. Again, if you haven't done so already, to open up your tutorial 2 and rename it last name, first name, tutorial 3, and then save it in a similar location where you can find it. So, okay, first thing we're going to do, again, you can follow along on the notes or you can follow along here on the video. So we have our 3D drawn. Hopefully yours looks like this. If there's anything that looks a little bit different, don't worry about too much. Some people might actually have this gap not showing, but don't worry about it for the moment. It won't. For this example, it doesn't matter. We'll just work on getting the commands together. So first we're going to put our shaft in. So we're going to open up our first floor plan. So in the project browser, just double click on first floor and our plan will show up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to place a shaft that's going to be 3 meters wide by 1 bay wide in the area around grid lines A, B, 1, 2. So we see grid line A and B, and this is 1 and 2. So we're going to zoom in here. So in this corner here, we're going to put in a shaft opening. So again, staying in our structures tab, we're going to move across over here to the opening section. Again, there's a few different types of openings you can use, but we're going to use the shaft option. So we give this a click. Again, so using the boundary rectangular option, we're going to click on here. Again, just make sure you're in the top bay here. I'm going to start off down the bottom corner here at the end point. And again, we want it to be 3 meters going up from this grid line up, and then it's going to be the width of the bay. So just kind of bring your mouse out here till you get the height roughly at 3 meters, and then just drag it across till we're kind of in line with the wall here. The 3 meters might change a little bit, but don't worry too much. Just get it as close as you can. And then just hit escape a couple of times. So now we have our shaft there ready to go. Well, not exactly ready to go. A few different things to do yet, but once you have your shape more or less, so it's going to be 1 bay wide and about 3 meters in this direction. So once we have it here, we've got the, again, once you add a command, make sure you always go to the top here in the modify thing and click on this green tick. If you just hit enter and escape, it'll just cancel the command. So we'll just click the green tick and let Revit do its thing. Okay, so now you'll see it's gone blue. That's actually telling us that a shaft has actually been created. So we've actually got a void in the floor plan. So what we want to do, we want the shaft to cut through the first floor and the second floor, but not the roof or the ground floor. So we're going to apply the necessary offsets to do this. So we can then check the 3D model to make sure that the openings are correct. And again, if we select the shaft on a floor plan and open it in 3D, we can see that the shaft extends to 3D. So we can just click on the shaft here, and we'll go into the 3D view, and we'll see how it goes. So again, if we zoom around, you can see it's kind of cutting through you can see the blue boxes is highlighting where it is, but we can see it's cut through the first floor and the second floor. So that's exactly what we want to do. And we'll just go back to you can actually hear on the properties. So we have our top offset here. We can go back to the first floor actually, we'll just do it here. So we'll just check some of these settings here. So base constraint, it's going to be set the ground floor. The base offset is going to be 600. The top constraint is going to be up to roof level. And the top offset is going to be minus 600. So what all this means is basically the base constraint is going to be, the bottom of this opening is going to be the ground floor, but we have to offset that 600 millimeters up from the ground floor, so we're not going to cut into the ground floor. The top constraint is going to be the roof level, but we've offset of minus 600, so it's going to come down minus 600 from where it was. We saw previously that it looked more or less correct, but again, it's always good to double check the properties of the shaft. So we'll just click out of that. And that's fine. We can check our 3D then. Again, it's the same thing what we had there, but sometimes, but the default settings last time worked just nice for us. It wasn't cutting through anything else, but it's always good to go back and check just in case. So we can see what those offsets mean. See that at the bottom of the shaft, our shaft is highlighted by this blue box. We are 600 from up here, and then we're about 600 from the roof up the top. So that means we're just not touching the roof or the ground floor. So we'll just go back to the default 3D view again. And again, seems like everything is okay. So we just hit escape a couple of times. And again, without the blue box there, you can have a little view around and see how it looks. Just double check it's not gone through anything else. But yeah, it looks perfect for us. It's going through the ground floor, or sorry, it's going through the first floor, and it's going through the second floor. Perfect. So we'll just set this back to default. So once we have our shaft opening, what we're going to do now is put the stairs in here. So again, if you can follow along the notes, or you can follow along here. So we're on the first floor plan. Now we're going to go to the architecture tab. Usually I've been saying to say the structures tab, because that's most stuff we're doing here is structural stuff. But in this case, we're going to use the stairs, which is an architectural component. So we're going to click on architecture and go along here to have the circulation, and then we're going to click on stairs. You see the stairs option comes up. So we can use the default one here, the assemble stairs, 190 max by 250 mil going. But first I'm going to do, I want to just change a few settings and properties. We obviously want to start the stairs on the ground floor. Starting on the first floor and the second floor is fine, but then we still need to get up from the ground floor upwards. So we'll start our base level is going to be the ground floor. And then the top level here, because we'll just do floor by floor, we're going to go up to first floor. And for this one, again, there's a few different building regulations. In the Irish building regulations, there's Part K governs the rise and fall, as well as the maximum allowable number of steps you have before you require a landing. And for public stairs, the maximum riser per step is 150 millimeters, and a flight can only have a maximum of 16 steps. And that means that it's going to vary between. That means the goings are going to vary between 250 and 300 mil. So in order to meet these regulations, we have to just change some of the properties here. So what we're going to do is change the desired number of risers to 24. So that'll actually change the actual riser height, and that'll keep the actual tread depth at 250. But we want to change, we'll change this actually to 280. So that'll make it work. Okay, once we've got these details here and we've got ground floor to first floor, what we're going to do now is we're going to click on the run option up here. Let me just double check I'm not missing anything. Okay, so yeah, we click on run. And there's a few different things we need to change just before we go any further. So along the tab here, we see the location line. We're going to run left. If it's not set to left, just drop down menu and click on run left. And leave the offset to 0 and make sure your actual run width is 1.2 meters, so 1,200, and make sure that the automatic landing has been ticked. Okay, and so once we have that, then we're just going to actually start drawing our stairs. So we're going to start in position here, so down in the basically intersection of grid line B2. So click in here, and we want to go forward 11 steps. So we'll just count these out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and just click there. And then using the mouse without clicking, it'll just give you a guideline to this point here. And then again, it's going to be another 11 steps here. We'll click on the end point. So once we have our stairs, we should have something like this. So we click on the green tick. Again, you're getting a warning about the railing, but we're not going to worry about the railing in this drawing, so don't worry about it. So we just X that warning out of it. So now we have our stairs. So what we can do now is check the 3D view to make sure it looks okay. Again, the railing, there was an error with the railing, but we're not going to worry about that for the moment. We're just going to work with the stairs. So we'll load up our 3D view, and we'll just rotate it around so we can see it, because it's at the back view of the building. So again, it's always good practice now. Mine's not showing up here, and while it's moving, that's just the graphics on my computer. So we can see here, there's our stairs. It's within our shaft, which is highlighted by the blue box. And we have our stairs here. Again, I don't know the railing setting here, but we're not going to worry about that for the moment. If you've done the previous steps and the stairs still isn't showing up, that's probably an issue with the visibility graphics. So again, we mentioned this in the previous tutorials. Visibility graphics are settings we can put on just to show certain details. So obviously for certain views, or if someone's looking at a drawing, they may not want to see everything. So you can turn off different elements. So if you type in VG on the keyboard, you'll get this window popping up. And again, just scroll down here. If your stairs isn't showing up, just come down here and make sure your stairs option here is ticked. So if it's unticked, let's show you quickly. Even though it's actually in there in the first floor plan, we'll save a project. Thank you. So even though it's in there on the first floor plan, because it's turned off in the visibility graphics, it's not showing up. So just type VG on the keyboard. No need to press enter or spacebar. Retick your stairs. Click apply, and now it should appear. Straightforward enough. So now what I want you to do, you can pause this video, but you want you to go on and actually do the same thing. Put in the stairs going from the first floor up to the second floor using the same process. You can pause this video, take your time, get it right. Again, it'll use the same steps and same settings as the last time. You'll probably have to re-input them in again. So again, watch the last video. Take down some notes just to make sure you've got the right number of details. Sorry, the right number of risers and all that type of thing. And then once you've got that done, we'll continue with the video. Okay, so once you have the stairs going in, you should have something looking like this. We have our stairs going from the ground floor to the first floor, and then first floor up to the second floor. And it's always good to rotate your drawing just to make sure that it's actually touching, it's all in the right place, so you can see our stairs are on the right steps. That's okay. So that looks fine. Again, if you got the same error with the railings, don't worry about it. Okay, let's reset this 3D view. And we'll see here, just that's our second floor stairs in the shaft, and we got our first floor stairs in the same position. Okay, so hopefully yours looks like this. If it doesn't, we'll move on. If it doesn't, just go back and retry it again. It's probably just issues with the settings and the properties of the stairs. So again, just look what I did in the very first one from the ground floor upwards, and just make sure you have the same ones again. Otherwise, we'll move on now. So we'll just do one more quick thing on this video. So this is actually when we're going to change the material. So what we want to do, we want to change all our generic materials to cast in place concrete. So what I want to do, we're going to just change the material of the wall. So we're going to click your mouse on the wall so it's selected. It'll go transparent once it's selected. We're going to bring up our edit type. And in this dialog box, you'll see in the construction section there's an option for structure. We're going to click on the edit button. And again, in here, well, we'll see where it says structure. It says by category. See these three little dots in the square here? We're going to click on these. This will bring up the materials. So again, these are all the different types of materials we have. You can, again, depending on what you're making, you can put them in. And what we're going to do, we're going to go for a concrete cast in place. And we'll go for a C35. That C35 is just a grade of concrete. So sure you remember from your concrete technology lecture. So C35 means that the concrete should have a strength of 35 newtons per millimeter squared. In this case, it doesn't actually matter, but just select this one, just keep everything consistent. Click OK, and click OK. Let's see our walls now. And click apply. Click OK again. And now you can see our walls have changed color a little bit because we've changed the material. And now, again, just to double check, we'll click on a different wall. We'll just go into edit type, click on structure, and you can see here, concrete cast in place C35. So we changed the properties of the material of one wall, and that automatically changed all the other types of all the same elements. So the other walls, so the walls on each floor have all been changed at the same time. So what we'll do the same again for the floors. So again, just go in here, select your floor. If you can just hover over it. So yeah, once it's selected, you'll see it's there. Make sure you actually get the floor, not everything else surrounding it. Be hard, just like I have to zoom in a bit. Okay, here we go. So you'll see once it's selected properly, it'll go slightly transparent, and it'll be the only thing selected. If you come up and the edit tab is grayed out, that means you've selected one or more elements instead of just the floor. So we have our slab same as last time. We'll do the edit type, click into structure. Okay, it's already in there already, but we'll just, for demonstration purposes, it's grey, but we'll set it to concrete cast in place C35. Click OK and apply. And you'll see all our floors now have actually changed that concrete cast in place C35. So the previous one had a bit of a concrete hatch in terms of little dashes and things, but now they're all a bit clearer. Again, these type of deals might be specified by the architect engineer, so this is just more of a demonstration how we actually change them. So again, hopefully all our floors and walls now have all been changed to concrete cast in place C35. Should all have changed color to look something like this. If not, just go back and rewash the steps. We'll do this and you can do it again. And yeah, that's all we're going to do in this video. So in the next video we'll move on to something else, but so quick summary. So in this video we created a shaft, we added a stairs going from ground floor to first floor to second floor. Then we changed the material types of the walls and the floors. So again, if you've missed any of that, just again go back and watch the video. Make sure your model looks something like this, because we're going to be continuing with the same model for the next video. And in the next video we're going to look at sheets, but we'll discuss that more then. So yes, just double check everything looks correctly and we can move on to the next video. Okay, thank you.